Coming up on 6 News, it's a special day for some adult students as they celebrate getting their diploma. Plus, the latest as the state Senate approves a bill that would keep guns out of state hospitals. And later, community pools open in the area, and city officials are doing what they can to keep them safe. 6 News takes a look.
Local news, weather, and sports. You're watching 6 News.
Good Thursday evening. Welcome to 6 News. I'm Stephanie Bryan. Several dozen Lawrence residents will graduate from high school tonight, but what's special about this ceremony is that many of them are well beyond their high school years. 6 News' Rose Claire joins us live in the studio to explain. Rose.
Hosted by the Lawrence Adult Education Program and Diploma Completion Program, more than 70 individuals either completed the GED or earned a high school diploma. And I spoke with one of those graduates who receives his GED tonight, 15 years after dropping out of high school.
31-year-old Joseph Davies dropped out of high school when he was 16 to support his then-girlfriend and now wife go to college. But there was never a good time for Davies to go back.
Next year we had a child, and 4 years later we had another child.
But ultimately, it was his children who inspired him to finally get that diploma.
There's some days they wouldn't want to go to school, and I'm afraid they're going to end up saying, well, Dad didn't have to go to school, or he didn't have to finish his classes or anything, and I didn't want that to be an excuse.
Assistant Director of Lawrence's Adult Education Program, Diane Spicer, says that's exactly why the school's there, to help adults graduate from high school. But it's not easy.
Many are working jobs, some work 2 jobs, many have families to support, and so they try to work in coming to school around families. Transportation is an issue, childcare is an issue. They face a lot of obstacles to make the sacrifice to return to come to school.
Davies finally made the time when he happened to move his family right down the street from the school.
I just happened to look it up and said Adult Learning Center, and you can get your GED, and then kind of like click.
Though he says he had to miss a lot of the classes to pick up shifts at his job at Target.
All the KU students left for the summer, so they were giving out more hours.
Still, he says he felt confident to take the test.
Except for the math. I'm not really good at math.
But you passed everything.
Yeah.
So how did that feel?
It felt really good.
His only regret? Waiting so long.
Everybody thinks, I'm not going to remember all this stuff, but when you start reading it, it just, it clicks, and I should have done this a lot sooner.
And now that he's finally got his high school diploma, Davies has big plans for the future.
I want to get into, meteorology. I love the weather, and Ken just has such exciting weather because it could be, cold one minute, hot, and then, storms will pop up out of nowhere.
You gotta love that Kansas weather. And Joseph says that if that doesn't work out, he loves his job at Target and might want to get into management instead. For 6 News, I'm Rose Claire. Back to you, Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Rose. And 77 individuals will receive either their GED or high school diploma tonight.
First weather, brought to you by Bridgehaven.
Oh, clouds and the sun have been a little bit back and forth out there. However, temperatures not too bad. 77 degrees right now, just below average for the day. And winds are coming out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour. The air still fairly humid at 69%. So here's what to expect later tonight. Dry conditions for the remainder of the evening. 75 at 7, and then a light southeast wind, 73 at 9. And fewer clouds later tonight, 70 degrees at 11. Lows in the 60s. I'm expecting clear skies, sunshine, and warmer weather for tomorrow. But can we keep that around for the weekend? I'll have that answer, Stephanie, in a little bit. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adam. President Donald Trump announcing that the U.S. will pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. The nation will withdraw from the 190-nation agreement that seeks to reduce Earth-warming gases. Trump says the U.S. will immediately stop adhering to its emission reduction standards. He goes on to say that the deal is unfair to American workers, suggesting that other countries have more favorable agreements.
In short, the agreement doesn't eliminate coal jobs. It just transfers those jobs out of America and the United States and ships them to foreign countries. This agreement is less about the climate and more about other countries gaining a financial advantage over the United States.
Trump will stick to the withdrawal process laid out in the agreement, which could take nearly 4 years to complete. That would move the decision to American voters when deciding who the next president will be. And we asked you before the announcement whether America should pull out of the agreement. 10% of you said yes, while overwhelmingly 90% of you said no. At the state capitol tonight, the Kansas Senate approving a bill that would exempt concealed guns in state health facilities. The bill would allow state hospitals, other public hospitals, mental health centers, some nursing homes, the KU Health System, and the university's teaching hospital all to ban concealed guns. The National Rifle Association initially wanted to limit the exemption to fewer institutions and only certain areas. It's an amendment to a law that will go into effect this July, which allows concealed carry in public health facilities if there is no security measures. The bill is headed to the House. And some say it would be a political embarrassment if lawmakers passed a bill to fund extra session days. It's the 104th day of the legislative session, and lawmakers are worried about exhausting operating funds while seeking a solution to school finance as well as the state budget. The session was only supposed to last 100 days. It's already 10 days longer than normal. Existing funds could last into next week. Well, today was the last day to submit an application to run for city commission and the school board, and there are enough candidates to hold a primary election for city commission come August 1st. However, the number of candidates for the Lawrence School Board just fell shy of the required 10. That means the board will skip the primaries and just hold a general election. General elections for the school board as well as the city commission will be held in November. Well, the Lawrence Police Department warning people tonight of a voicemail scam. Take a listen.
Issued an arrest warrant against you. Right now, you and your physical property both are being monitored, and it's very important that I do hear back from you as soon as possible before we proceed further in any legal manner.
The number that is calling is 609-250-9724. Police say that you should first just ignore the call and don't fall for it. Well, the sun is out, the pool ready to go. After the break, we take a look at how the city is keeping the water safe so you can swim.
Plus, Bob Lisher and the Free State Firebirds camping this week in West Lawrence. I'm Kevin Romery. I'll have all those details coming up later in sports.
Local news, weather, and sports from your community. You're watching 6 News.
After an outbreak of a waterborne illness several years ago, local health officials are doing what they can to make sure it doesn't happen again. That includes having regular pool checks. 6 News reporter Cecilia Jenkins is in the newsroom with the details. Cecilia.
Stephanie, a parasite called Cryptosporidium made its way to the Lawrence pools a few years ago, making several people sick. Now, health officials regularly check over 100 pools in the county and want others to do their part in keeping the pools clean.
The next time you go to the local pool, you may want to pay attention to the health safety rules.
We want to make sure it's a good, fun swimming experience, but the important thing is to ensure that the pool is safe.
Some of those rules include showering before swimming, and the most important,
take frequent bathroom breaks, especially with toddlers.
Not following those simple instructions can lead to some serious waterborne illnesses. That's why Mary Beverly with the Lawrence Douglas County Health Department says they test waters frequently.
To make sure that there's, the proper amount of chlorine in the water, that the pH is at the right level.
We test every 2 hours. We test for chlorine and pH. If we need to add some because it's low, we do add some, but we do that every 2 hours.
And having the correct levels are important.
There are several different diseases that people can get, if they swim in a pool that's not chlorinated.
While the chemical prevents many diseases, there are some like a parasite called Cryptosporidium, which made an appearance in Douglas County a few years ago. And Beverly says it's
kind of resistant to chlorine, so if we have a diarrheal illness, possibly they might have that. They can cause an outbreak.
In order to avoid another outbreak, health officials urge everyone to follow those simple rules before and while you're in the pool.
Yes, it is a job for everyone.
In addition to their monthly tests of chlorine and pH levels, officials also check the drains, slides, and all other equipment to make sure it's safe for swimmers. In the newsroom for 6 News, Cecilia Jenkins.
Thank you, Cecilia. For more information on pool safety and testing, just head to our website after the show and click on the story. Well, we had more rain today, but are we expecting any more? For that answer, here's Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin. Adam.
Yes, Stephanie, we'll have another chance this weekend, but it's going to be some very nice temperatures. We've got well into the 80s if you're thinking about getting into the pool. So then we have that 30% chance for showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. And the best time frame to get that, if we do, it will be between 1 and 6 p.m. And if we get any measurable rainfall at all, it's going to be very low. I'm thinking about a couple hundredths of an inch. So really not going to impact your weekend too greatly there. Sunday is going to be sunny and warm, and we'll continue to see that dry stretch of weather all the way into next week. I'll have your full forecast coming up next.
Have a news tip? Call 832-NEWS. Email news@6newslawrence.com or submit your tip online at 6lawrence.com. Weather brought to you by McDonald's of Lawrence.
Hope you're enjoying this Thursday. We had some showers earlier, but now even the clouds are gone. We saw some on the horizon just at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, but how quickly things change in Kansas. Right now, skies are completely blue. And let's switch and take a look out of our tower cam in Eudora. The only clouds I'm seeing here are right on the edge of the screen. So lots of sunshine and blue skies there as well. So far today, 77 degrees in Lawrence, and that's a few degrees below average. Morning temperatures were actually above average, and the rainfall hasn't updated yet. We've gotten 1/3 of an inch today. And now looking back at the month of May, we had the majority of the month with above average temperatures, and actually 16 days of 80 degrees or higher, so the majority of the month was a warm one. We also had rainfall at just about half of the month on 15 days where we had measurable precipitation, and the heaviest showers came in on May 18th and 19th. And if you remember, that's where we got some severe thunderstorms with gusty winds and hail. No severe storms out there today. In fact, the showers we had earlier have diminished as they moved off to the east. Those passed through, and now we're done. So the rest of the evening looking dry with clearing skies. 77 right now in Lawrence and Linwood. Tonganoxie 76, 77 in Eudora, 75 degrees in Basehor. It's going to be a warm start to June as we jump into the 80s again. Now we do have a storm chance on Saturday, but heading into next week, we're looking at sunny and dry weather again. Temperatures will cool a little bit. We're going to have a couple of toasty days starting tomorrow with highs well into the 70s. I'm going with 87 degrees. Sorry, 80s, not 70s. It's going to be very warm out there. Then Saturday, I'm watching a cold front that'll be moving in. So by the afternoon, between 1 and 6 p.m., there's a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, but it'll be pretty hit and miss. And then Sunday is going to be a very warm day again with the humidity increasing into early next week. So 64 tonight, clouds on the decrease, ending up with generally clear skies, winds out of the southeast about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That'll give us a sunny start for tomorrow, and the sunshine's going to go to work for us pretty quickly, increasing temperatures to 72 at 9 a.m., 82 at noon, and we'll get into the middle 80s in the afternoon. In fact, I'm expecting a high of 87 degrees, becoming partly cloudy by the evening. A nice warm afternoon to enjoy. Winds out of the south 5 to 15 miles per hour. Here's my 7-day forecast. We'll see some pretty warm temperatures over the weekend, above average on Saturday, 85. And that's our pretty much only chance for the next week of getting showers or thunderstorms. So be on the lookout Saturday. Don't anticipate any widespread severe weather. So that's the good news. Sunday, you'll be good to go out there, but remember sunscreen. It's going to be a warm one, 88 degrees. And a couple locations, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe saw 90 across our area. 83 on Monday, 81 Tuesday, a little relief from the heat, and then partly cloudy skies on Wednesday and Thursday. So a bit cooler, not as warm heading into next week.
All right, thank you, Adam. Well, coming up next, it's a different kind of lunch break. The Brown Bag Concert Series bringing music to downtown. And we take a look at the lunchtime hotspot after the break.
Select Warn Radar is brought to you by Dunco Heating and Cooling.
Well, the annual Summer Brown Bag Concert Series kicked off today. Each week, local bands will provide music for the crowds, and today it was the Beer Bellies. The band has performed together for nearly 2 decades, and they were excited to begin this year's concert series.
Really proud to carry on the tradition and kick off the Summer Brown Bags.
Oh, we love doing it. We love watching the kids dance. We're glad it's not raining. It's our town, you know, it's fun.
Besides being fun, it's free to the public each Thursday this summer. It will be held at 9th and Mass starting at noon. Nice day. Nice day.
Beer Bellies, they pick that name themselves, or does someone give them that name?
I like it. I like it. Switching to sports, Royals taking the night off tonight.
Some would argue that the Royals have taken a lot of nights off this year. It's been a little bit rough stretch here for them, and you start to worry that if this continues, some of those guys you really like that are part of this team the last few years,
it'll be interesting.
They may be on the trading block coming up. Who knows? Kansas City Royals heading into an off day on a very sour note. Those details on the way. Plus, the Free State High football team gets jump starts on the 2017 season. I'll have much more from Camp Firebird after this. Welcome back to sports, everyone. The Kansas men's basketball team's 2017-2018 non-conference schedule has been released. Amongst the foes for the upcoming season, 3 that played in last year's NCAA tournaments. Kentucky, South Dakota State, and Texas Southern all received invites to the Big Dance. As for other big names on this schedule, about Syracuse, Washington, Arizona State, Nebraska, and Texas A&M. It all gets started with that exhibition game on Halloween night against Pittsburgh State. All right, to the prep gridiron now, where in the 21 years that Free State High School has been open and operational, there's never been a more highly attended summer football camp than the one taking place this week. That should be good news for a Firebird squad that already has high expectations for 2017. 20 years ago this summer, Bob Lisher was preparing for his first season as Free State High's head football coach.
Our first summer, we couldn't have these camps. We couldn't do this stuff. We could condition. That was it. And we had a makeshift weight room down in that building down there because our weight room in the school wasn't finished yet.
But much has changed since 1997. In fact, Firebird's annual summer camp, which is being held this week, is as full as it's ever been.
Biggest group we ever had before was like 72 people, sophomores through seniors. We're at 78 right now, and that's our biggest ever in 20-some years here. So we've got some bodies and we've got some athletes, and now we got to put them all together. But I'm just encouraged at the fact that we have that many people out.
A year ago, the Mean Green advanced to the Class 6A Final Four before falling to Derby. This year's team, however, will look much different than that one. Offensively, the Firebirds lose starting quarterback Dallas Crittenden and record-setting wide receiver Zach Sanders to graduation. Meanwhile, on defense, All-State linebacker Jay Deneen is off to the Big 12 and the University of Kansas.
Even with all the people here, the thing that concerns me right now is finding enough offensive and defensive linemen. I think we got some starters, but we need to find some depth. And part of it's due to body type and part of it's just due to playing experience, but we've got to find some depth there.
We're a little bit different. We run the ball. I feel like we're going to run the ball a lot more this year. Dallas was a throwing quarterback, and especially if I play quarterback, I'm a running quarterback, so that's what I do. But I'm working on my throwing every day and trying to get better.
Yeah, a lot of people out here, a lot of opportunities to get a starting spot, like with the 2 offensive defensive coaches making it like platoon system, so everyone's just trying to get a starting spot.
The Firebirds camp started on Tuesday. It wraps up today. Back in action tomorrow night against Cleveland. And finally, the Kansas City T-Bones wrapping up their series with the Gary South Shore Railcats tonight. Stakes enter Thursday on a 4-game winning streak after knocking off the Cats Wednesday 6-2. Casey's road trip continues this weekend at Sioux Falls. At least one team winning professional baseball around these parts. Certainly not the Royals right now, but hopefully a day off will do them some good. And I mentioned earlier in the week that we'd start talking Kansas basketball next week a lot. Actually kind of broke what I told you. We did it today.
See?
The basketball story is already starting. Didn't know it was coming today. They just released it. Who knew?
You can't leave basketball alone.
Every day we get to a story, really. We really
so true. All right, thanks, Kev. Well, up next we find out what there is to do and see in Lawrence this weekend. It's another edition of Save the Date. Stay with us.
Welcome to this week's Save the Date here on Channel 6. The weekend starts with a morning catching fish at Mary's Lake.
Young anglers are invited to test their fishing expertise. Everyone is asked to bring their own fishing poles and bait. Door prizes will be given throughout the morning, so come and enjoy the great outdoors. All aboard and enjoy a day out with Thomas the Train. Take a real train ride with Thomas and enjoy several other fun activities along the way. This is a fun event for the whole family, so make sure to book your tickets today.
On Sunday, the entire family can get their yoga fix here at the library.
Bring your whole family to stretch together, relieve stress, laugh, and play with yoga instructor Sarah. All ages and skill levels are welcome. And don't forget your yoga mat.
For some midweek fun, come to South Park for some music galore.
Come see the Lawrence City Band as they perform a night of spectacular music. This is a free, fun family event for everyone to enjoy. So bring some lawn chairs or a blanket and enjoy the tunes.
That's all for this week's edition of Save the Date. Make sure to check out our calendar online at 6lawrence.com for more local events. And I'll see you next time, so save the date.
All right, thank you, Shayna. And obviously some good things to do. Some of those outside, let's just hope the weather will fare for them.
Yeah, it'll cooperate for the most part. We're looking at generally dry conditions. The only hiccup there is Saturday, the possibility for showers and storms. I'm looking at the window between 1 and 6 p.m., and if we do get any measurable precipitation, it's going to be real light, just a couple hundredths of an inch of rain, so not too big of a deal there. Rest of the weekend, very warm on Sunday, not far from 90. A little relief from that heat comes next week.
All right, definitely the 80s are here. All right, well, thank you. That's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 10.